Lena had spent months helping her younger sister plan the wedding, picking flowers, calming nerves, dealing with last-minute meltdowns, and attending endless dress fittings. She never complained, even when she felt taken for granted. It was her nature to help, even if no one noticed. But on the actual wedding day, standing in the middle of the grand ballroom with golden chandeliers reflecting off polished floors, she realized she hadn't prepared for this, being abandoned. The moment she walked in, her eyes drifted to the seating chart, searching for her name among the large family tables or close friends from her childhood. Instead, 2 words froze the breath in her chest. Lena, table 23. She followed the number all the way to the last corner of the room, far from the dance floor, far from the family, nearly hidden behind a decorative column. A small round table with only 1 chair waited for her. She blinked twice, thinking it must be a mistake. She approached a wedding planner assistant who was rushing by. "Excuse me, table 23, is that correct?" The assistant gave a tight smile. "Yes, the bride wanted you to have space to relax." Relax. Lena felt her heart sink. Her sister had been distant lately, always swept up in her glamorous circle of friends who thought Lena was too plain, or too serious. Still, she'd thought today of all days would be different. But as she sat down at the lonely table, the reality hit her like cold water. The seat wasn't about giving her space, it was about keeping her out of sight. The laughter from other tables felt louder. She noticed glances, some curious, others pitying, a few mocking. A woman at a nearby table whispered loudly to her friend, "Is she really sitting alone? Couldn't they find anyone willing to sit with her?" Her friend giggled as if she'd heard a hilarious joke. Lena clenched her hands beneath the tablecloth. She lifted the glass of water before her, but her hand shook too much to drink. She forced a smile and blinked back, the tears forming in her eyes. Nobody should cry at their own sister's wedding. She distracted herself by watching the bride take photos with the bridesmaids, girls Lena barely knew, girls who had replaced her in all the pre-wedding events. She had been the one who helped plan everything, yet now she wasn't even included in a single photo. As she sat there, trying to swallow the lump in her throat, she heard a tiny voice beside her. "Miss, are you okay?" She turned to find a little boy, around 7, with shiny black hair and a tie that wasn't quite tied right. His big brown eyes held genuine concern. "Oh, I'm fine," she lied. "Are you lost?" "No," he said confidently. "I'm with my dad." He pointed to a tall man walking toward them, broad shoulders, charcoal gray suit, clean-shaven face, warm eyes. The man approached with a gentle smile. "Sorry about my son. He has a habit of noticing things." The boy tugged the man's hand. "Daddy, she looks sad. Can we help her?" Lena felt her face heat with embarrassment. "I'm really all right, I promise." The man looked at her table, 1 chair, isolated, dimly lit, and gave her a knowing look. "You sure?" She hesitated. Her throat tightened again. "It's just a misunderstanding." "Looks more like a bad seat assignment," the man said calmly. She let out a breathy laugh, surprised that anyone even cared to acknowledge it. "I'm Adrian," he said, offering a hand. "And this is Noah." Lena shook his hand lightly. "Lena," Noah beamed. "We're sitting with lots of people. There's cake too. Real cake." Adrian chuckled and leaned closer to her, lowering his voice. "Listen, you don't deserve to sit alone. Nobody does. So, if you want, act like you're with us." Lena blinked, stunned. "Act like I'm with you. Just for tonight," Adrian said kindly. "We're at table 5, front and center, apparently because my cousin owes me a favor. There's an empty seat beside us. You're welcome to join." She opened her mouth to answer, but for a moment, words failed her. No stranger had ever offered her anything so simple yet so meaningful. Noah tugged her hand eagerly. "Come sit with us. My dad tells stupid jokes." "Hey," Adrian protested half-heartedly. "They're not stupid. They're sophisticated." Lena laughed. Really laughed, for the first time that night. And strangely, the sound didn't feel out of place with these two. She rose from her isolated table as Noah practically dragged her across the ballroom. Conversations paused, heads turned. Her sister's bridesmaids exchanged confused looks. Lena ignored them all. For once, she wasn't going to shrink herself. Table 5 was warm, filled with lively chatter. The guests greeted her with smiles, no questions asked, as if she belonged right there. Adrian pulled out her chair for her. "Welcome to our fake family," he whispered. And for the first time all evening, Lena's chest felt light. She wasn't alone anymore. Part 2. Dinner flowed into stories, jokes, and easy conversation. For every moment Lena hesitated, Adrian nudged her gently back in with a witty comment, while Noah filled the gaps with endless rambles about dinosaurs, planets, and how weddings should really have a bouncy castle. Lena listened, laughed, and for the first time in years, felt like she wasn't trying to earn a place at a table, she simply had one. But across the room, she saw her sister pause mid-photo, her eyes narrowing as she spotted Lena laughing with Adrian and Noah. The bride whispered something sharply to her maid of honor, her expression twisting with annoyance. Guilt pricked Lena's heart, but it didn't outweigh the comfort she felt beside the single dad and his bright-eyed son. During dessert, Noah insisted on showing Lena how he'd learned to dance for the wedding. "Watch, Daddy taught me," he said proudly, hopping off his chair. Adrian rubbed his forehead. "I did not teach him that part." "That's interpretive enthusiasm." Lena laughed so hard her sides hurt. When Noah returned for juice, Adrian leaned toward her. "Do you want some air?" She nodded. "Yeah, I think I do." Outside, the night was cool, the soft glow of fairy lights wrapping the garden in gold. Lena inhaled deeply, the scent of roses calming her racing heart. Adrian joined her, hands in his pockets, watching her for a moment. "So, want to tell me what happened in there?" She hesitated. "My sister gets caught up in how things look. And I don't fit that look." Adrian's jaw tightened slightly. "That doesn't justify humiliating you." "I don't think she meant to," Lena said quickly, though she didn't truly believe it. "She just forgets about me sometimes." "Nobody should forget you," he said quietly. Lena's breath caught. She turned toward him, surprised by the sincerity in his eyes. "You just met me, and..." His smile softened. "It doesn't take long to recognize someone's worth." Her heart fluttered painfully, too tender, too exposed. Before she could respond, the door burst open. Her sister stormed out, wedding dress swishing aggressively. "Lena, what are you doing? You're embarrassing me." Adrian straightened. Noah peeked out from behind his leg. Lena's stomach twisted, old patterns pulling her back. Shrink, apologize, disappear. But tonight, something inside her refused. "I'm embarrassing you," Lena said, voice trembling but firm. "You put me alone at a table in the corner." Her sister rolled her eyes. "It was for the best. You always make things awkward." Adrian stepped forward, voice calm but edged. "She wasn't making anything awkward. You were." The bride blinked, stunned. "Excuse me, who are you?" "Someone who thinks she deserves better," Adrian said without hesitation. "Maybe you should try treating your sister like family instead of an accessory." Silence fell. The bride's mouth opened, closed, then opened again, but no words came out. For once, she had nothing to say. She spun around and stomped back inside, seething. Lena let out a shaky breath, eyes glistening, not from hurt, but from the shock of being defended. "You didn't have to do that," she whispered. Adrian turned toward her, his expression softening. "I know, but I wanted to." Noah suddenly wrapped his arms around Lena's waist. "Don't be sad. You can be in our family. Daddy will say yes." Adrian groaned softly. "Subtle, buddy." Lena laughed through tears, hugging Noah back. "Thank you, both of you." Adrian offered his arm. "Shall we go back inside? Noah promised you a dance, and trust me, he will not let it go." She slipped her hand into his arm. "Let's go." They returned to the ballroom. Noah immediately grabbed her hand and pulled her onto the dance floor. He spun her, hopped around, and at one point attempted a cartwheel before Adrian intervened. Adrian watched her laugh with his son, a look in his eyes she couldn't quite name but felt deeply. When Noah finally ran to get more juice, Adrian stepped closer. "So, Lena," he murmured, "in case you ever need someone to sit with again, I'm available." Permanently, if needed. Lena met his gaze. Steady, warm, full of something she hadn't felt in years. Hope. "I'd like that," she whispered. They danced. Slow, gentle, unaware of anyone else watching. Around them, the wedding continued, but Lena no longer felt invisible or unwanted. Tonight, she found something unexpected. The feeling of being seen, chosen, and valued. And standing in Adrian's arms, with Noah beaming nearby, she realized she hadn't just escaped loneliness, she'd stepped into the beginning of something beautiful, something hers.